now we're going live. Hello. I don't know if we're live yet. Are we live?
Are we live yet?
I don't. Why do we never know if we're live? Why do we never have any clue if we're live? Go here. There's a thing where you can go to the streaming link, view stream on YouTube. I know we're
live. I was doing a bit. I thought you were doing a bit.
No. No, I'm doing the thing again where I got to mute myself. Oh shit!
How do you have an echo and I don't?
Hold on. It's getting weird.
I'm clearly.
Christ, it's getting weird again.
Streaming from my bed.
I screw this up every time. There
light,
we go. There we go. Mute it.
We're having the technical.
All right, back in the game. Back in the game, like pros, like a couple of old pros.
Well,
you know what I think of myself really as an old pro.
Well, I don't know if I'm old, but
John. Well, you got some issues to talk about. Acceptance, John. Time comes for us all.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, you're the exception?
What does that mean? What is time comes for us all?
I don't know, John. You had some hangups when I said old pro.
What does that mean? What is young? What is old?
John, stop with the bullshit. What are you talking about?
I just don't know what those words mean.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Welcome to Rim Tim Timmy's Fun Time Hour. I'm your host, Rim Tim Timmy. I'm here with a guy who doesn't know how fucking old he is. Hey, yeah. Dude, you remember Game of Thrones?
I do remember Game of Thrones.
So like starting 2 days ago, I just started like, I just wanted to rewatch it, but then I was like, I am familiar with like the first 4 seasons, and I'm like, I haven't rewatched like seasons 6 through 8, like when the show quote unquote started going south, right? Like when the books ended, and then the show was left to its own devices. And I was like, maybe it's not as bad as, you know. I was like, when I finished the show, I was in a pretty cynical state, and I remember, you know, just hating on it. I was going, maybe it's not that bad.
Pretty bad.
It's.
At what point does it get bad, though?
Right. So it starts, dude, I took a lot of notes. I don't even know how to get through them.
It's prep. Yeah.
Yeah. What I liken it to is like, have you ever had a loved one get Alzheimer's?
No.
You've never had that? You never experienced that? Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, not Alzheimer's.
Or dementia of any kind. You ever known anybody
who's there is a relative of mine who is starting to show some signs.
Okay.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I've experienced it with a couple of my relatives, and it's very sad, and it's awful. And you're watching someone you love kind of start to forget themselves, and they're not really themselves anymore, right? And it gets progressively worse and worse, and they become something else. That's like watching these characters that you know and love for 5 seasons. They kind of slowly stop being themselves, and there's something else. It's like they all simultaneously forget who they are, and it's just because obviously George R. R. Martin knows these characters better than the showrunners. The showrunners don't know these characters. Apparently they didn't learn these characters, because these characters start doing things that they would never ever do.
Like what? Like
Tyrion's character, for example. Like he's okay, man, there's just so much to talk about. The thing, if you notice in these later seasons, there's so many meta lines. And by meta lines, I mean stuff that like the writers are saying to the audience that a character would never say. Like specifically, they apologize in season 8, they apologize for what happened to Tyrion. The writers through Sansa, excuse me, there's my Chicago accent, through Sansa, when her and Tyrion are on the bridge and they've been reunited for the first time in years or seasons, you know, she says to him, you know, for the longest time, I thought you were the smartest man I ever met. And you go, he was.
Yeah.
But she has to say that to apologize for all the dumb shit he's been doing. That's completely out of his character. But it's like it's a meta line in that it's justifying his shitty behavior. And you go, it's fine for a character to do unlikable shitty shit, but when it's shit they wouldn't do, it's just apologizing for his dumb. It's almost like saying, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. And you go, no, it's not. You just forgot who he was. It's like all of his strategic decisions after Marine, he stops thinking 2 steps ahead. Tyrion got this far because he's always thinking 2 steps ahead. He's thinking, he's you know, if you are moving king to pawn or what, you know what I mean? It's like, remember we were playing MLB The Show?
Yes.
Okay. So like in that game, if you're playing online, you're playing somebody online. It's the way you like hit a pitch is like, it's a guessing game. It's like, I bet he's going to throw the ball here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many games you could play. You go like, I'm going to swing terribly at this pitch to make him think I can't hit it.
Yeah.
And you go, but I'm actually setting him up. And a thing I like to do all the time, because I'm so smart, what it seems to work is that like, I'll throw a pitch in one spot. Right. And a guy hits it pretty hard.
Yeah.
And they go, and a normal person. Anyway, somebody would probably think, well, I shouldn't throw it there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what's the last thing that guy expects?
That you will throw it in the same spot?
In the exact same spot, the exact same pitch. And then it works because they don't hit it as hard.
Yeah, when you were playing me, I knew that you're going to throw 3 balls and then start throwing strikes.
Honestly, I wasn't.
And as I was playing you, I was like, man, Jeff has a low opinion of me in this game.
Well, but
like, Jesus, these balls aren't, he's not even trying.
Yeah, but my point is, it's like, it's thinking 1 step ahead. Yeah. Where I go, it's always doing the last thing they would expect, right?
Right.
And so after Marine, Tyrion does the 2, I mean, I'm probably missing one. But first of all, the whole idea to go get a fucking white and bring it to Cersei. Now everybody's dumb. Like the idea that this is Tyrion's first giant brain fart. But not brain fart. It's fine to make brain farts. It's fine to have characters do stupid shit because people do stupid shit. Even smart characters do dumb shit. But he knows his sister.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows his sister. And the minute he says, well, I think she'll help us if she sees how bad things are.
Yeah.
No, she won't, though.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense based on his
character. He knows his sister's an evil, smart person.
He talks about her all the time. That like, yeah.
And so it's not that he makes a dumb decision. Is that right then he ceases to be Tyrion. He's something else. We have our first onset of dementia there, where I don't know what character that is, but the idea that maybe Cersei will come help us if we show her a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, no, she won't though. She'll probably kill you, or either way, she's not gonna do the thing you want her to do.
Yeah.
He knows that any handshake you have with Cersei is not a handshake.
In the books, I mean, in the show, they completely cut out a giant portion of the books for the show.
I mean, I understand. Right. So I'm just a show guy. I don't know the books that well, but from what I've read, is that Tyrion is like, he becomes kind of a like a drunkard piece of shit. Well, which is okay. But yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is,
a smart character. It's just,
but I imagine he doesn't. I mean, right? Isn't the whole like go get a white, bring her to Cersei thing? That's a show thing, right?
That's completely a show thing. The last time you saw Tyrion in the books was he was on his way to see Daenerys. He hadn't met Daenerys yet. He was on his way with someone that he learns is a third heir to the Iron Throne. It's another
There's another heir that's cut out of the show completely.
It's another boy dragon. He's like a little kid.
Yeah,
and he's being escorted by this old knight that everyone thought was dead. And
but once he, but they're doing all right when he even meets Dany for the first time, because like it makes sense for him to counsel obviously the most powerful person in the world, where he's like, she's gonna win the war, she's got the dragons, I should probably get in her ear. You
Yes.
know, so like that all makes sense. And he's quelling her worst impulses. So that's fine. But what also the other thing that doesn't add up there, it's like when he's at Marine and she's and you know, they've done all these political, they've tried to negotiate with the slave masters. And they're and you know, they're abolishing slavery didn't go quite the way they thought it would, right? And trying to negotiate with the slave masters, and Tyrion's juggling everything while Dany's gone, and it's just an impossible thing. And Dany comes back and is like, and is just as frustrated, sick of people not being grateful, and she's like, "Fuck it, I'll just kill all the masters."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And you go, you know, I maybe like maybe that's the way to do it. But Tyrion's like, no, I have an alternative route. And you go, okay, but it's like it's nuanced there, right? You go, I see both sides. Like, fuck, man, like. What is the greater good here? Is the greater good letting them have slavery again so they go back to the traditional ways? Or is it just killing all the slave masters, but you're still killing a bunch of people? Like, you can see where there's no good answer, which is when the show is most interesting. When there's no good answer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But take that Tyrion, who's like, okay, I have this queen, she's got these dragons, and she has impulses that are going to kill my family, essentially, and probably everyone I love. How can I steer her in a more peaceful direction? Now you cut to the end of season 8 when Tyrion is turning in Varys for traitorism, treason, right? And you go, yeah, but dude, you saw this coming with her. You knew her impulse is to kill everything. Like that, it's like why he devolves into just worshiping her is strange, and it's unlike him. And it's not even because he's in love with her, because that's unclear. But then, dude, it's just so frustrating, and it could all be solved in one easy way.
How?
It's also, dude, the thing they got wrong, and it just solves so much of season 8, is because what's all like Tyrion and Jon in season 8 just suck. They're going, she's my queen. She's the queen.
Yeah.
She's my queen.
Yeah.
What can I do? She's my queen. She's my, and you go, God damn it. It's just a broken record. These characters are stagnant, doing nothing, just watching. They go, no, but she's the queen. When all evidence is saying that she's a bad idea as a queen and that you're actually the king and whatever. But you can get rid of all of that is if you just flip the two wars. You have to end with the war against the dead. You in season 8, you start with the war against Cersei and you end with the dead. Here's how it should go. Jon gets the idea. I forget who hooks up Dany and Jon. Who says that's
no, it's
Tyrion, right?
It's Tyrion. It's Tyrion and the Onion Knight, I think, isn't it?
The Onion Knight?
Yeah, the guy who smuggled.
Oh, turnip. Yeah, Davos. Right.
Davos.
Okay. And they go, great idea. You need help. You need help killing these things. And then I don't know if he mentions the dragon glass as part of the reason to go meet her, because that would make the most sense, right? There's all that dragon glass there. We need it. I don't remember if that's part of the reason.
I think it is.
Okay. Well, great. So he's got, this all makes sense. Go talk to her, see if she'll help out. But knowing that probably no, because she's determined to get the Iron Throne. Like that's her MO. But maybe I get some dragon glass. Great. Make a friend. Cool. So he goes over there. She's like, bend the knee. He's like, no. And she's like, and he's like, I need help with these dead guys. And she's like, no, because I want Cersei and I want the damn throne. You go, okay, we're at odds here. And then they do right then and there, they can fall in love. You can have this wonderful episode tryst, like he 1 or 2 episode thing where he's at, what's the name? Dragonglass, that island, where that land, whatever. He's a Dragonglass world.
End? No.
We'll call it Dragonglass World, right? So he falls in love. They fall in love at Dragonglass World. Great. And then they realize they have to go their separate ways, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And he picks up a bunch of Dragonglass and he goes back and fights, knowing, meanwhile, Dany is going to take on Cersei. And so then you'd have these two concentric wars going on. You'd have Dany would probably wipe out Cersei, right? That's how that would go. You could still do that. But Meanwhile, Jon's having way too much trouble with the dead guys at the wall. They overrun him. They have to retreat, and then they retreat back to King's Landing, where Dany has just massacred Cersei, right? And so now Dany's, but also during that time away, she learns that Jon is Aegon Targaryen, and he learns that she's his aunt, right? So when they come back, when Jon and his army are retreating to King's Landing, you have them being chased by the dead guys, and now an enemy in Dany waiting at King's Landing. So Jon is now being flanked on both sides by two enemies. And you go, everyone's active. It's so interesting. Which side's Dany going to take? Is she going to destroy Jon, or is she going to help him with the... So you'd have this very unclear dynamic going on. And if you still want to end it by Dany, or by Jon killing Dany, you can still do that. Like, they can team up to take on the whites, and then, at the end, when they're like, hey, we did it, he can still stab her if that's what you want. That's not how I would end it, though. The reason it's like, dude, the reason they end it this way, and the reason Drogon wipes it, first of all, why Drogon burns the damn chair and not Jon. What? It's so weird. The moment is so weird.
It's first of all, is it because he's like part dragon? Like he's
but here's the thing. Here's the thing. What could you have done that's cool having him be part dragon?
He could have ridden on I mean,
no, dude. He just killed Drogon's mother, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens if Drogon just unleashes on Jon?
I mean,
dude, he survives. He's a Targaryen.
Yeah.
How badass would it be if just Drogon unloads on him and he's standing there
in the middle of the fire because he can't be burned. He can't be burned by fire.
It's the final revelation that he's in Targaryen.
Yeah.
Instead, Drogon turns his head and goes, chair. And you go, what? What? Oh, not the man who killed my mother. Chair, though. It doesn't make it. This is where you have characters doing things outside the show for ending. We need ending. Have him do this as opposed to what would a dragon do?
Yeah, I don't know.
Does a dragon know what the fuck a chair is? Maybe Smog would, but this ain't no Smog. You know what I mean? So it's infuriating. Anyway, but the point is, what are they trying to convey by melting the chair?
That the wheel is broken, that no more kings and queens, like
kind of, but also what, like the energy of Drogon, and like it's saying this whole thing was silly, right? The pursuit of this fucking chair, everybody's stupid for wanting it, right? That's the message. Yeah, this is a fruitless exercise. This wheel is stupid. Like, that's the meta commentary, right? Burn it down. It's who gives, like, there are bigger things that we all should be united around, right? That's the message you could say of the show, right?
Right. Yeah.
I just lost my train of thought. Anyway,
and then after that is the biggest part in the whole show. Go ahead.
But what's the better way to convey that? To ultimately, if the way you want to end it isn't this whole, aren't our pursuits of power and whatever, fame and greed, aren't they silly and stupid, right?
Yeah.
Like, look how fickle man is, right? Is kind of the idea of that ending, right?
Yeah.
What's the ultimate way to express that? Who should win?
Tyrion?
No, dude, the White Walkers, man.
Oh.
They should just be running. The final shot should be the Night King sitting in the throne. And you go, meanwhile, while all you idiots were dicking around, I took it.
Yeah.
It's like, if you want to say man is fickle, the ultimate expression is, I'm sorry, the Night King wins because you're all stupid. And so that's how I would end it, because that's if that's what you want to say with this show. You end, and then you have the ultimate battle at the end. The Night King wins, unfortunately, because Jon has no help. Jon's the only one, and Jon is just like Dennis Quaid in The Day After Tomorrow, where he's going, guys, it's the underworld, and everyone's going, shut up, Dennis Quaid. No, it's not. And he goes, no, but look at these charts. I got charts say it's the end of the world. And they keep ignoring him, right? So Jon's just Dennis Quaid screaming at the end of the world's coming and nobody's listening. Yeah. And so the consequence is everybody should die. Yeah. Like it's right. Anyway, or you have a happy ending and okay, you have 3 endings. You have Night King wins, or you have Jon kills Dany, so it's this bittersweet thing. Or Jon and Dany go, yay, we did it. Mm-hmm. Because that takes us to the most unwatchable scene in Game of Thrones. I couldn't finish it. I had to turn it off. Yeah. That's that fucking round
table scene.
Dude.
The round table scene is so bad. It's just so it's just the writers talking directly to the audience.
There's
so many like jokes and meta jokes. What?
Yeah, in a weird way, they're talking. You're not even sure what they're saying because it's also like the moment before, right? The throne's been melted.
Yeah,
we're saying hasn't this has been a fruitless exercise? Men is a fickle beast.
Yes.
And then what do we cut to?
They're like, let's
doing it again.
King. Let's get a new king in there.
Yeah, and you go, okay, like if you want to say, but it's not even with the intent of we're doomed. Like we're just gonna do this forever, right? It's not even with that kind of intent. It's just it feels like, oh, they forgot we just learned this lesson. And also, dude, that's why if you flip the battles, they would come fresh off this united front.
Yeah.
And then when you have that meeting, they would go, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Like, and then because the meeting opens with this democracy joke that Sam makes.
Sam says,
and goes, wouldn't it be nice if we had democracy? And everyone goes, ha, 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 as if we're supposed to laugh too. And you go, no, but isn't that the lesson we should have learned here? Mm-hmm. And so it's weird. And nobody's laughing with the writers on that. And it's so meta too, that you go, what? Yeah. And then you have the other guy stand up and and then you follow it with the blowhard joke.
Yeah,
where he's like, well, I've been a lord for blah 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 blah, and what I say, and Sansa says, sit down, and you go, okay, that joke doesn't land either because you just laughed at democracy, and now you're laughing at the way things have been. What's up, Robert?
Robert has.
I want to add my 2 cents.
Please.
I hate that they chose what's his face as the new king, because I've never seen Game of Thrones before, but I watched this episode with Jon.
Yeah,
and to me, it was like the writers didn't choose what would be best for the story. They chose what was going to be least expected. But
was it though? Was it least? Was it least expected?
I think because it was so boring, yes.
I mean, dude, there is a theme. There's and you can see it throughout the final seasons of fan service. There's a theme of fan service. They're constantly pointing it out within shows, dude. There's that line in the battle against the White Walkers where the lady in red, Melisandre, says this to like when Beric dies. She goes, well, the Lord of Light brought him back for a reason, and that was the reason. And you go,
what was the reason?
So he does kind of a Hodor thing where he's sacrificing himself. But it's so lame because he just goes like this in a hallway, and it saves Arya. Yeah. And you go, that's the Lord of the... And then Melisandre literally says, payoff. And you go, what?
Also, what? The dragon doesn't do anything.
What's that?
When Daenerys dies, the dragon doesn't do anything.
Oh yeah,
he burns the chair down.
He burns the chair.
He goes, chair.
The Game of Thrones. He burns.
He goes, the chair.
There's no consequence to anything. It's like,
did you hear what Jeff said? What he wished had happened?
No, what do you wish happened?
And you need to flip the fights. The Battle of Cersei needs to happen before the Battle of the Dead, and then the way I would end it, if the idea of the show is that men are fickle and this is a fruitless pursuit, the throne, you have the White Walkers win. They have to, because Jon has no help. Or if you want to keep the Jon killing Dany thing, you could do that too and have it be bittersweet or whatever. But
the
either way,
dragon,
you have to put the White Walker battle at the end.
But also, the dragon should try to kill Jon.
I think he should have fucked up the whole kingdom at the end.
But but dude, the dragon, because he should unload on Jon and blow fire all over him, and he would live.
But because Jon is a Targaryen, he just like his aunt,
and it would be badass. It's what's so frustrating is it's so obvious. It's right there in your script, but then you have the dragon go chair.
It's stupid. It's so self-aware.
But it's not smart.
I mean, it's fan service.
But that's not even but first of all, but that's not even good fan
Wouldn't
service.
that be fun though if it's like, okay, Jon Snow needs to kill Daenerys because they've decided she's out of control. But the price for just killing her is that now they have to battle
a dragon?
fucking dragons.
So now everyone who's left in the kingdom is just trying to kill a dragon.
But that's achieved still if you switch the battles, and then Daenerys has just wiped out Cersei now. But Jon, and she's got news. She got news from little birds that Jon is Aegon Targaryen, and they have to fight now. And they're being chased by the White Walkers. You go, what an ultimate 3-front battle at the end. And it's just like, also dude, it becomes 90210 in that final season where Jon, Daenerys essentially burns the city because Jon told Sansa and Arya about who he is, and then Arya told Tyrion, and then Tyrion told Varys, and then Varys, and you go, are we doing this?
Jeff,
is that what this has become? What?
Have you read the books?
No, I'm a show guy.
In the book, are they writing the book like in the TV show?
What?
Wait, what book?
Like within the, at the end how it's like.
Sam is like, and then
no.
She's like written Game of Thrones.
No,
no. Dude, I couldn't rewatch the ending. Because the damn round table scene is just it's the nadir.
Like
is that what I'm used to? It's the nadir of
it's like she's Bilbo Baggins.
She's like the Game of Thrones,
a Song of Ice and Fire.
A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, it's so weird. But also, dude, the other problem I was trying to figure out, and I don't think it's the writer's fault, is the show becomes Lord of the Rings at the end, and Lord of the Rings is awesome. But it's different, right? The rules of Lord of the Rings are entirely different. Where in Lord of the Rings, your hero's gonna live.
Yeah. Well,
you open with Frodo and Gandalf, they gonna live, and they do.
Lord of the Rings is very much good triumphs over evil.
Yes, right. That's what I mean. So that's that experience. Game of Thrones becomes that because by season 7 and 8, no one's gonna die, and it's weird. And you can't. It's like you can't. It's just a feeling, right?
No. The reason it's weird is because the books set up the fact that the people will die. Like George R.R. Martin in the books, before it was taken over for the show, was totally fine with killing the main characters. He killed Catelyn Stark.
Yeah, no. Right. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying something fundamentally shifts in the show where you stop feeling like characters are in danger. And I couldn't put my finger on it. And why do you think that's the case? Why do you think it stops feeling like characters are in danger?
It's fan service?
Well, no. But what is happening in the show that makes you feel that way? Nobody's saying, hey, these characters are going to live.
I think it is the writing because I used to talk to my auntie and uncle about this because they love the books. George R. Martin, he writes characters' lives as lives, and he has his ideology that when you're writing a character death, it shouldn't be like it shouldn't
romantic
be necessarily like romanticized for the story. It should be like how a person dies, how
people die, right? That's his whole thing.
Like and it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder. It's just you go when you go.
You can go when you go.
The show, when the writers took over, they were like, this has got to be, everything's got to mean something.
Yeah, but it only becomes that, and I think there's a mechanical thing that does this. The problem is, as you kill off characters, you have fewer and fewer storylines to cover. So the show, by default, becomes narrower and narrower. As more characters die, there's fewer and fewer storylines, right? So by season 7 and 8, you have like 3 storylines you're following. Yeah. So you know inherently, well, these guys gonna make it, right? Yeah, well, because like in a movie like Lord of the Rings, you have 2 perspectives. You have Frodo and Gandalf. By the end of 7 and 8, you got like 3 perspectives. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, this is it. The way to combat that and keep you on the edge is you have to be constantly reintroducing new characters, even in the final season. Because the character of the show is not the characters, it's the world. The world of Game of Thrones is the main character of the show. So the way to do that, it should never become Jon Snow's story. It should be Westeros. And so there should be constantly new characters coming in and out to replace the dead ones. And that's how you would keep the feeling of nobody being too important and nobody going to like gonna live. Like that's the mechanical thing going on.
Yeah, I think it's that, as well as I think it's undeniable that the change in voice in terms of when they departed from the books because they couldn't be patient.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely like the characters start doing weird things because they're no longer.
When he finally, if he doesn't die before finishing the last book, they should redo it. They should do it like.
Yeah. Or it could have happened like this, and then like they have a new final season.
But Jon Snow wakes up and it's a dream.
And he's like,
it was all a dream.
And Lady Melisandre is above him, like, ooh.
And he goes like, that was horrible. That's so horrible.
Oh my god.
But it's like, it's weird that the show becomes so narrow, because when you think about what's actually happening in these final seasons, is you have one guy going, the Night King. The rest of Westeros is just doing their thing. So it's weird to it's like, think about like, this is about like the thing we're going through right now, right? It's like, it only becomes a problem for you when it becomes a problem for you. And so by narrowing the scope, we've suddenly made this very local problem the soul consuming story of the final 2 seasons, when that's not what the show's been about this whole time. The show's been about what's been going around in this giant fantasy world. So while Jon is battling these battles on the wall, you should be cutting to what's going on in fucking Marine at that moment, or wherever. There should be, because people are living different lives completely disconnected.
Here's what it feels like. I have a great deal of respect for the challenge that the writers had, but what they were trying to do was sort of an impossible task, where George R. R. Martin, not impossible, but George R. R. Martin was spent years and years and years and years and years, decades on these books. And they were trying to like sum everything up in a couple of years. Now, I know it's like, I really like your solution of just keeping everything evil, pure evil versus humanity. But
that's not my solution. My solution is just flipping the wars, and you have to keep the scope wider than Jon Snow.
Right.
And because that's the only way you can keep from it being Lord of the Rings. Not in Lord of the Rings is great. It's just different.
The books were always interesting, and the original the show at the beginning was interesting because it was the War of the Five Kingdoms, right?
Because it's Love Actually, not The Notebook.
I hate Love Actually.
That's the Game of Thrones.
No, right. No, it starts out as Love Actually and becomes The Notebook. That's 100% right.
I hate Love Actually.
And but see, the question is, how do you keep it Love Actually when you're killing other characters, when you're killing main characters? The answer is you have to reintroduce new ones.
The show was exciting,
or introduce new ones.
The show was exciting when it was a chess game.
When it was Love Actually.
Yeah.
Don't compare it to Love Actually.
No, but dude, that metaphor is 100% dead on.
I'm not saying it's like Love Actually.
Framing with all the different.
Yeah, it's an ensemble. What starts as an ensemble story becomes a solo piece by the end. And that's where the show goes wrong. And that's why you stop feeling like characters are in danger.
You guys all play chess, right?
I know you hate Love Actually, but the reason why Love Actually works so well, regardless of your sole opinion, is that they do all these solo stories, and they well enough make them all come together at the end, and that's what the last season should
Yeah.
have been.
But it's like, check it. How cool would it be if in the sixth episode of, or like season 8, like the last 2 episodes, you're suddenly introduced to a completely new character, and you go,
that was Aegon Targaryen.
Okay, great, but who the hell's this guy?
Do you remember the guy of the Sands? And their whole the people of the Sands had such a grudge against Cersei. And you remember why?
You need refresh me.
They had a huge grudge against Cersei because the Tyrion Lannister, not Tyrion,
Tywin. Tywin.
The main lion, the guy, their dad, Tywin Lannister commanded that Elia Martell's and her child were murdered, sent them to be murdered. And that was their whole, that was the huge grudge.
Right.
Had. So their child was, and this, I'm probably getting this wrong, but their child was Aegon.
Okay.
Who was the third heir. And that child being alive is that's the character that comes out of nowhere. That child and John Connington and that little band of people, and it makes sense why Tyrion would sort of come across them, because in the books Tyrion is on his way to seek out Daenerys and is going to hook up with Daenerys, but on the way Tyrion finds this sort of ace in the hole, which is another heir, and that's exciting. And Catelyn Stark turns into Lady Stonewall, who was essentially a zombie.
Right.
Anyway, it just feels like they didn't trust everything.
Well, they just didn't understand why the show was working and why it was different. And it's because you can't narrow the scope down to 3 characters, because we know how it's going to end. You know what I mean? No, your characters are no longer in danger. You've showed your hand. When it becomes when the show becomes that small, you've showed your hand. And that's the whole appeal of Game of Thrones, was we don't know what the hand is. And also I'm thinking of, and also the Littlefinger death is upsetting on a number of levels. First of all, it's upsetting because I was always most curious what his end game was.
Yes.
And because he seemed to have that one step ahead thinking, you go, you always know something we don't. And then you find out he didn't have a plan, because his last plan, dude, is not a plan.
It always felt like the 2 chess players, the 2 people playing chess, were him and Varys. Right. And they were playing chess with all the...
I would have been in favor with a Littlefinger ending and him and Varys sharing the throne or something, that. Look at the two masterminds. Sure. But the thing is, and this is again a weird meta line, where he starts pitting Sansa and Arya at each other. Why? What's there to gain from that?
I don't know.
Arya doesn't hold any land or any armies. So he only up to that point, he only does things to advance his cause.
Yes.
That does nothing except endanger his trust in Sansa, or her trust in him. It's the only thing it could possibly do, because Arya has nothing he needs or wants. And so you go, oh, why is this happening? Because he needs to die.
Yeah.
It's just it exists to set up his own death.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sansa in his kangaroo court calls him out on it. And he goes, this is what you always do. You always pit siblings against each other. And you go, yeah, but every time he did it before, it's because there was a reason. Yeah. Now he's just doing it because.
Yeah.
So we can kill you now. And that becomes a theme of, okay, we can get it. We can kill you now. And you go, it's a cheap trick, that Littlefinger scene, because yes, it's unexpected within the scene, but it's, when you look at it broadly, you go, Littlefinger stopped being Littlefinger. He stopped behaving in his best interest, which is the last thing Littlefinger would ever do.
Can I point out a character? Because
Hold on, let me get water.
Oh God. Jeff's gonna go and get water. He's dehydrated, so he's gonna go and get some water. How's everybody doing? I can't read any of the chat comments right now. This is my my room. I have the closets over there. It's my little recording setup.
I know what I'll do. It's like, Sansa, you're growing more powerful, and you know what? And I really need you on my team. So what I'm gonna do is piss you off. I'm going to turn this person you love against you for no reason other than to set up my own death.
Listen to this character that was excluded from the show who sounds really awesome. Okay? So I forgot this from the books, but this was while Daenerys is in Meereen. There was this guy named Strong Belwas, and he spent most of his life as a slave and fought in the pits of Meereen before being sold around. He's a very large man, and his entire body is covered with scars. According to him, the scars came from all the men he fought in the fighting arena, as he would let each of his opponents cut him once, and then he would kill him. And that he jokingly boasts that this is how proof of how many men he has killed, and that he's never lost a fight.
Whoa.
I think they replaced him with that handsome dude.
And then there's the strangest edit in the whole series. And that's when Dany goes, I'm going to go kill a bunch of women and children. Cuz
what?
When she's on the dragon, the final battle against Cersei, the bell rings. The bell rings, the town is surrendered. The city is surrendered. She's on Drogon, on a building, just sitting there, bells ringing, everyone's surrendering. Yeah. She and the dragon are looking directly at Cersei, like the 500 yards across the city, directly towards the bell tower, where the castle, or whatever you call it, the keep. Her eyes are fixed, and you go, oh, she's going to go straight for Cersei. She's going to kill her, right? And then we cut to people in the streets surrendering, the dragon flying overhead, and you go, oh, headed straight for Cersei. And we never see Dany's face again, and we just see Drogon light up the town. We don't even get... I think the reason they don't show Dany's face there is because there's no sense, there's nothing she could do to justify, actress or character, what the hell is going on. It's almost like Drogon goes rogue, but we know that's not the case. I think they don't cut to her because there's no look that could justify her just going ham on innocent people. When she's, the whole series been about freeing the innocent people.
Yeah.
That's been her whole fucking thing. And then in one piece of editing, let's just not explore that because we need her to kill innocent people so we have an ending. And I couldn't find what they said about why she did it. And I was trying to stretch my mind and go, why on earth would she possibly do this? Even if it was edited well, like even if you cut to a shot, like she's headed for the keep, and then she looks down and sees these innocent people and she goes, you know what? I want them too. Right. And then she goes and then she lights everybody up. You go, why would she do that? And there's you do get a feeling that she's like alienated in this new, in the South or in this new Westeros or whatever, Westeros. Which she's out of her element and people are turning on her and she doesn't really have anyone to turn to anymore. Her closest informants have betrayed her, and Jorah's dead. She has no family. So you get it. She's feeling very alone and vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, and like, she's freed kingdoms before and they haven't been grateful. And, you know, so you go, so she says, fuck it. Like, that's the closest I can get. She says, fuck it though. Like, because these people aren't going to love me. And it's also because the way these wars are set up, it's just really comes across because Jon doesn't like me, I'm going to kill everyone. Or because Jon won't kiss me, I'm killing everyone. That's how it comes across. And it's insane.
It kind of weakens her character because
kind of.
More, I know, because it's like she spent the whole season after
her whole thing, and it's an interesting conversation, is about the greater good. Is like, is it worth freeing slaves if I murder all of the slave owners? And part of you goes, yeah. And part of you goes, no, that's not the way to do it. So that's her political.
And it makes no sense. It destroys everything they've created if after setting her up as this strong female character who, like, she's a queen, even though her husband died, and she's doing everything for her dragons and her cause. And then she just decides to kill a bunch of innocent people because Jon Snow doesn't love her.
It's because the show, they want her to become her father, I guess, is the idea, right? She becomes her father. She can't escape going insane. But we don't see her go insane. We see her get very, very upset. And those are entirely different things. Insanity and pissed off, not the same thing. Because it's not a lot, you know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah,
I think probably what happened is George R.R. says, does he really say this? He goes, yo, D&D, Dany goes insane. She becomes her father.
Yeah.
And she burns the entire city. And you go, okay, how do we get her? How do we convey that? How do we show this character that everybody loves or has grown affection to some degree for, and just like, does she like go insane? Like, say things that literally don't make sense and do things that don't have any logic to them. And their answer was, well, we'll upset her. And you go, that doesn't get her there. And I would have said, okay, George, sorry, but she doesn't go insane because you can have her go insane. That's not how we're going to do it. And also, dude, you didn't need her to go weirdly insane in that final episode to kill her.
Yeah.
Because even if she just goes straight for the keep and kills Cersei and spares the innocent people in that town, you still have this weird thing of Jon is rightful heir, but she wants it. And they still don't agree politically. She's still far more like, what you could do is you have them round up all of the people who fought for, or all of the lords or whatever, all the Cersei's loyalists.
Yeah.
And just, you would have a scene where she's rounded up all the Cersei loyalists. And she's like, and Jon's like, what are you going to do with him? She's, well, I'm going to murder him. And he goes, no, you can't rule that way. So you could still have this discord, and she's about to wipe out these lords, and then Jon could kill her right there. So you didn't need her to do that to have the ending you wanted. So that's also what's so bizarre about it. Anyway, man, it's so frustrating. What else I wrote down? I'm losing my voice. Hold on.
I just can't wait to the next season. Next season's going to be so good when Bran is king and, Tyrion is around.
Oh, dude. Also in that stupid round table scene.
And Jon...
Ray, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Grey Worm comes out, and there's so many weird meta lines. The scene is hilarious. First of all, Grey Worm comes out with Tyrion, and Sansa goes, "Where's Jon?" And he goes, "We do what we want around here." And you go, "Yeah, but why didn't you bring Jon though?" And he goes, "Oh, that's the writer saying, oh, we couldn't have him in this scene." Because why the fuck wouldn't Grey Worm bring the most valuable prisoner to the discussion?
Yeah.
Or like bring none of them
Mm-hmm.
or both of them. So we're already off to a really weird start. And then Tyrion starts to talk and Grey Worm goes, "You don't speak, you're a prisoner." And you go, "Okay, those are the rules." And then he allows Tyrion to monologue. Because weirdly,
you're the kings and queens of Westeros. Couldn't you pick one?
The amount of time they let this prisoner, and even the weird guy, I forget, is he a Stark? The guy goes up and goes, "I've been a lord for 35 years, and I think I should be." Who is that guy?
He's a Tully.
He's a Tully. Tully dude. All right. So Tully dude, Tully weirdly, after he gets shot down, he goes, "Prisoner, what do you think?" And you go, first of all, why is the Tully leading this? Why is he asking a fucking prisoner? Why is Grey Worm letting him speak for 5 minutes? All of this shit don't make no sense.
Yeah.
And it's just we've left sanity.
Robert said while we were watching it, Robert said that it felt like a fanfic, and he's right. It felt like
and not a very good one though.
Why is this scene interesting?
Like, right, prisoners aren't suddenly prisoners aren't being treated like prisoners. Yeah. We're throwing out entire rules of this world, just so Tyrion can say something poetic. What else I got?
Does it look like I'm frozen if I go like this?
What? Yes.
I'm just kidding. I'm fine. I'm
not oh, also there's that weird
field for comments. Yeah.
Because it's Lord of the Rings now. Is after when the entire city has been wiped out by Dragonfire. Arya was hiding in around a corner, so she's fine. Dude, the world is smoldered, is ashes, and she goes, "Oh well, I found a nice corner to hide in," and then there's a nice horse waiting for her, and you go, "Oh, all rules are out the window." Her survival is insane. She's like literally hiding behind a corner and she survived where everything is now dust. It's not like a few shells, landed.
I mean,
and you go, "Oh, come on." It's like, not that she needed to die, but you can't just do that. You can't just, yeah, but she lived. It's literally, they went, yeah, but she lives.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't make any smart choices to do so. She didn't find shelter. She hid behind a corner.
It was also
that everyone else seemed to be wiped out in the same corner.
It was also a little disappointing how quickly she kills the Night King.
Oh, dude. And well, because the battles were flipped or wrongly, they had to get that battle out of the way, which is exactly what it feels like. Yeah. I need more water.
How's everybody doing? Is everybody doing all right? Is everybody hydrating? I think the lesson of today is hydrate before you talk for an hour. Because talking for a very long time dries you out.
Anyway, yeah, the Arya thing. her killing, it's just also like I remember watching it and totally knowing it was going to be Arya because they intentionally didn't show her for like the last 20 minutes of the battle. And they go, oh, well, there's a reason.
Like, oh shit, Arya.
You go, hey, you forgot about Arya, didn't you? And you go, no, I literally didn't. I didn't forget about her. I didn't forget about her because you weren't showing her to me.
You brought up Lord of the Rings.
But like you forgot about her a little bit, right? So this is going to surprise you. And you go, no.
You brought up Lord of the Rings, right?
Yeah.
What was the thing in Lord of the Rings that you had to pay off by the end of the series?
He needed to throw the ring in the fire.
Exactly. In Game of Thrones, there were a couple of things that were set up in the books and in the first 4 seasons that were never paid off. Number 1, 3-headed dragon. They always talked about the 3-headed dragon. There was never 3 heads. I guess there were 2 heads, you know. Number 2, Lady Melisandre having all of this extraordinary blood magic and the quote-unquote Lord of Light.
Right.
They don't talk. You never find out who the Lord of Light is.
Well, I don't know how you would do that. I mean, I don't think they need to pay that off. It's like, was there a guy going to come and go, I'm the Lord of Light?
But everybody has gods in this.
Yeah, but like you don't need to see the gods.
At the beginning of the show, you see the old gods in the tree, these faces in the trees. You see that. I don't think you need to show who the Lord of Light is. I think that's fine. Because it's like, maybe don't show it, but I don't know. It just felt unpaid. It just felt like it was unfulfilled.
Well, there's that weird moment where Melisandre has with Arya, first where she starts, well, Beric served his purpose. That was the payoff. And you go, what? Anyway, but then she tells the green eye, blue eye thing to Arya. Oh, you remember that?
No.
Like there's 3 sets of eyes that like, again, she's going, it's been paid off. And you go, I think it's a stretch. Mm-hmm. I forget the details of that one. Also, dude, when she kills the Night King,
and the Night King is the third thing that didn't really feel paid off because the Night King was...
Well, he was shortchanged. The whole battle was shortchanged.
Yeah.
Because that should have been the ending of the show, that battle. And also, first of all, Arya becomes the Flash to kill him.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's literally that shot where the what do you call the Night King's minions? Like the other Night Kings? His second, the hand of the Night King goes, they're like his hair goes whoosh, and he goes, oh, what was that? And you go, what? It's like they should cut to what it actually looks like, and it's just a little girl going like this, and they would stop her.
But what justification?
She's so fast, I can't even see her.
What justification did they have that he didn't see her?
None. Editing. Dude, the justification is editing.
So here's why I'm fine with Arya killing the Night King. Maybe not there.
Yeah, she can do it, but you have respect for the laws of physics that are in this world.
They could have used all of the skills that she learned while she was studying.
100%. Like she's going like this.
Rest. Because her whole Arya.
Wait, John, you don't remember her skill being super fast?
No, I forgot it.
She has the Quicksilver thing where you're constantly cutting to her, and she's like the world's slow, and she's just like moving shit.
That would have been cool.
That's what she learned from the Faceless God, right? Was to like be like super fast.
I mean, how many times did she use the changing her face? Twice?
Dude, the whole Faceless God thing, cool idea, poor execution. Also, the first time she uses
she uses the mask with Littlefinger.
She never, what's weird is she never kills anyone for the Faceless God, right? She's assigned that actress, and she doesn't do it because she likes the woman. And then she leaves. And then after leaving, she knows how to do it. Yeah. It's very strange. And also, I still don't get where she gets these masks. Is it just in the, I think it's in the person's mind, you see it, but like,
no, it's not. In the shrine of the Faceless God, you remember when she goes into the temple and her master is like, look at all these fucking faces.
I know, but I think my interpretation is those are still metaphorical. Like they're still
Why would
like
you show the audience the actual faces?
yeah, but dude, what I'm saying is like if you like it's point of view. It's like this is what when you're in this mystical realm of disguise magic, it looks like taking a physical mask and putting it on. Because like there's times where they cut to like what the town like this like when she's a homeless Arya, a blind homeless Arya.
Yeah.
She's fighting that other
Arya.
girl. And you cut to like the point of view and like there's but she's fighting herself.
Yeah.
So you go, I think it's just metaphor, like it's not what in the physical world. I don't think these masks exist in the physical world. I think they're mental tricks.
Yeah, that's stupid because they show you.
I do, but is it less stupid than her making rubber masks and putting them on?
Well, because if they're metaphorical, why would you have walls lined with metaphorical masks? Well, because in the temple there are like
right. That's the idea. But like, John, you need to show a physical manifestation of this magic. Like that I think that's a good way of communicating it.
I guess.
But like, I mean, I think it beats, hey, I'm carrying around a bag of rubber masks. Hold on.
That's what it looked like.
No, I know it's what it looked like, but that's the way of them showing this mystic. Like, I think the minute she steps through those doors of the Faceless God, she's no longer in the world as we know it. It's a magical realm.
Oh, okay. I guess
there's magical rules. So these, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Here's another thing they didn't pay off.
Yeah.
They didn't pay off what's his name? Robert Baratheon's son. What happened to him?
What Gendry?
Oh, did he die?
No, Gendry just has sex with Arya and then he becomes lord. He becomes lord of some province or some. Yeah. Dany says, "Hey, you're a lord now," and he goes, "Cool."
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Even though he's like he's kind of an heir.
He's the heir to the throne.
I know. You know, they just need to get there's constantly a theme of and we just need to get rid of him. Here, we'll give you some land. Get out of the show. But dude, back to the Faceless God thing. Also, I think supporting my theory that it's not a literal, she's not putting on literal masks, is when she becomes Walter Frey, the old man Frey.
Yeah, when she becomes Walter White.
She's like 6'3". It's an optical illusion. Yeah, it's not like tiny Arya. It's not tiny Arya with a Walter Frey mask. You know what I mean? The whole thing is an optical illusion.
I mean, I guess. But
it's not conveyed. It's not portrayed.
Should have used her face magic. She still should have used her face magic to kill the Night King.
Yes, no, I agree. That would have been cool or something. But also, what's weird, dude? Hold on. Can we stay with Arya for a second?
Fine.
Dude, fucking when she's the Faceless God is a terrible trainer. He's an awful trainer because none of his students learn to become faceless gods or nobodies or whatever he's trying to turn these people into monks that forget their former selves, right? So they can be malleable.
Yes.
Except his primary student, the girl that keeps picking on Arya, is just like a dick.
Yeah.
So she's still an egoic person that hasn't become. She still knows herself that she's still very much an egoic being. So you go, well, you failed with her. And then Arya, whenever when he says, "What's a girl's name?" and she's like, "Nobody." We can tell that she doesn't really mean it. Yeah. But the Faceless God goes, "Good enough. Come with me." And you go, "But aren't you supposed to be an expert at this?"
Yeah.
Because her former self never truly dies, and yet she still advances. And you go, it's like if Luke goes to Yoda,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Move that rock." You know, after a bit of training, a wild training, goes, "Move that rock," and then Luke just walks over, picks it up, and moves it. And Yoda goes, "Good enough."
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, it's like a Jedi knows a Jedi, and a faceless god would know a faceless god, and a faceless god, but he doesn't though.
Yeah.
And so, whatever.
There's one more thing they never paid off, which was a really important part of the show because it was the first episode. And it was Arya's wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Arya's wolf didn't die. Sansa's wolf died. Arya's wolf just runs away. But they're supposed to have, but the direwolves are supposed to have like a psychic link to the Starks.
Yeah. I mean, definitely
Ghost and then
dude, the way he leaves Ghost at the end is the dumbest thing. He literally doesn't even pet him goodbye. He just goes, Ghost goes, oh, and John goes, and he gets on his horse and leaves him.
Get out of here, dog.
He doesn't even say that, dude. Yeah. He doesn't even acknowledge him. He hugs Sam goodbye, and then he goes peace to his direwolf.
Yeah, I know that's stupid too. Ghost, Ghost should have been there at the end of the season.
I mean, dude, I get it. It's like hard to work with actor wolves. I understand the need to like get them like fuse as little screen time as possible because hard. Like I can forgive that. That's not the big thing that bothers me. But because it's just like it's fucking hard.
I guess. But in the books they had Nymeria, Arya's direwolf, was alive because during the War of the Five Armies, there was always these reports of herds of wolves killing the Southern troops. And then so that's like the book telling you like, oh, Nymeria is alive. And so I don't know, it just seems like a really cool setup in like a final battle where if you did have a final battle with the White Walkers and the South, suddenly a bunch of fucking wolves led by the last dire wolf attacks. Like that would be a really great payoff.
Yeah. Also, like I'm even okay with not everything paying off because it's not the whole idea is this is not a perfect world. This isn't Lord of the Rings. Like everything doesn't need to be nice and tidy in this world. So you can have people believing in things that just turn out not to pay off. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with I'm even okay with characters just leaving this, like you don't need to see everybody die. Like they can just disappear into the world and you don't hear from them. It's because the world's so vast. It's like you can avoid these forced death scenes by just you don't need to see it. Like Euron's death, dude. When he fights Jaime for no fucking reason, he gets knocked off his ship in the final battle, and you go, we don't need to see him again. It's like, but it goes fan service where the fans want to see what happens to him, so we got to make him die. And so he pulls up. He randomly happens to pull up. He swims to shore right when Jaime's right at the shore, and he goes, "I want to fight you." And you go, "Why? What the fuck is going on?" And then his last line is, "I'm the guy. I'm the man who killed Jaime Lannister." And I go, as if that was his goal.
Greyjoy?
No, Euron. Yeah, Euron. Where he dies with a smile on his face, saying, "I was the man who killed Jaime Lannister." And you go, why do you give a shit? You never gave a shit. That wasn't your goal. Your goal was to sit on top of the throne next to Cersei. So it's the strangest thing where it's bad fan service where they go, "Hey, look, we showed Euron's death, and isn't it cool?" And you go, "Well, no." Yeah. How is that a good payoff for Euron? That he dies saying Jaime Lannister's name? It's so strange. It's so forced and bizarre. When all you had to do was just like, you didn't need to, he fell into the fucking ocean, dude. It's like, that's George R. Martin his whole thing is men die the way men die in this show. And he probably would have died being blown off his ship. So it's like you didn't need to show him again. The show becomes way too sentimental for its characters because it happens to become too narrow scoped. And we don't have enough characters we don't have enough balls in the air anymore.
Yeah.
It's characters become way too precious.
You don't like reading, right?
I mean, I actually ordered Jurassic Park on paperback. I'm going to read that again.
That's good. Would you ever consider reading The Name of the Wind?
I mean, what? I don't know. Sell it to me.
It's a.
I mean, if I'm just going off a title, no. No. How about no? How about no?
It's a really great book. Music is practically a character in it. It's such a great book. It's so good. I've never experienced this with any other book, but I read it in 3 days without stopping. I fell asleep reading it. I would get up at 6 a.m. I would wake up at 6 a.m. with the book in bed, and I would continue reading it until I finished. After I read it one other time, and I listened to the audiobook twice. The book was so good, I went online and I bought merch for the book. I bought 2 t-shirts, decks of cards.
What a loser.
It's such a good book.
John, have you ever considered that you're a loser?
I am who I am. It's such a good book. And there is the way he writes about stories and music. It's just really, really good. It's killer.
Cool, man. I hope they don't make it into a TV show and fuck it up for you.
Okay, so they are making it into a TV show.
Oh no.
But it's being directed by Sam Raimi.
Oh, cool.
And the executive producer is Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I mean, I don't know his work as a producer, so that, doesn't mean
he's also writing the music for it.
Okay, well, that's cool. But to say, Lin-Manuel Miranda, the movie producer, and you go,
he's yeah.
No.
The reason he wanted to do this project so much is because he was inspired for the song, this quote unquote, the story of tonight. He was inspired by Name of the Wind.
Okay. I hope it's good, man. It's just also, it's so upsetting because even watching those final 3 seasons,
yeah,
I was enjoying myself because it reminds you of the first 5 seasons. And you go, God, I want this to end well. And I'm in, and you go, and what you love, and I love about Game of Thrones and why no series will ever really do it again is the way he treats this world so in such a real way. Yeah. And how unpredictable it was, because it's just like, it's exciting. It's exciting. It was so exciting to go from episode to episode, not having ideas what could happen, but not knowing what is going to happen. And that disappears in the final 3 seasons. And it just sucks. And it didn't have to, and they should have talked to me and I would have figured it out and I would have fixed it for them.
Well, you've got to fix Hollywood when we get out of this quarantine.
It's, man.
We need you around. We need you to fix Hollywood.
It's just logic things, dude. It's just like having one more
thought.
If just everything was given one more thought.
That'll be a good name for
your memoir. You don't even need much, just one more thought.
Yeah.
You have John goes to meet Dany to get some dragon glass and maybe convince her to join up. She says no. They fall in love, though. I have a nice weekend together. They fall in love. But then John does this thing where he goes, I gotta go. Because that's John.
Just the simple act of them losing to the Night King and having to retreat again
Right, because and then John takes an armful of dragon glass, goes back to the wall, says, "Here, let's make some weapons. We got them," and they don't got them. They get overwhelmed. They have to retreat. Meanwhile, Dany is fucking up Cersei up in King's Landing. She takes the throne. Meanwhile, news travels that Jon is the rightful heir to Daenerys. So Daenerys is now becoming kind of Cersei-like in the throne, going, "Oh, this man I just had this great weekend with is now a threat to me." And Jon's thinking the same thing, that, oh, I'm kind of the rightful heir. Do I want it? She might be crazy. There's rumors that she's crazy, like she burned a lot of people. She burns a lot of people. And you go, okay, great. But he has to retreat north or south. And so he's caught in between. When you get there, I'm trying to think what would happen. Like, would she open the, does she, because you can't have her believe in this Night King shit. You can't have somebody go, "Hey, John, ghosts are real."
Yeah.
And you would tell me to fuck off. And you go, even if you brought me, you go, okay, well, I'll convince you. I'm going to go get a white for you, man. And I'm going to bring it to you. You're going to look at it and you're going to go, oh shit, everything you told me is true. It's still one white. I don't know. This could be some fucking trick. Yeah, it looks pretty gnarly. But but you know what? It's still one white, dude. I still want that fucking throne. I'm not threatened by that one thing. We just killed it. You just killed it in front of me. Okay, it's weird. You would go, your reaction would be, yeah, it's weird.
What would be a cool image at the end is Jon and company are like running terrified from the whites to King's Landing, and everything behind them is like frozen and dead. And after they do finally kill the Night King, if they kill him, then half of the world is like frozen and dead, right? So the only way they can rebuild is if they burn everything. The only way they can like plant new soil is if like the dragon that is left is just like burning up everything that was frozen.
Melting the winter? Sure.
So that they could like replant and rebuild. Because everything they've touched is...
That's if you want a happy ending there, John.
It would be happy, but it would also be dark.
But I'm just thinking about it. I just had this image of... because this is something Jon would do, Jon Snow would do. Is he go where he goes over to Dany and goes, "Hey, I could really use some help. We have this army of the dead. There's an army of the dead. It's real. I need your help." And Dany goes, "Yeah, okay, guy. Yeah, army of dead." He goes, "Oh, I'll prove it. I'll prove it though." And then he would get back on his ship and he would go and they would do that stupid battle. He'd go get a white and bring it to her. Go, "Well, look at this." And she'd go, "I mean, yeah, that's fucked up, dude." And you could kill it with this. "Oh, you just killed it with that. Oh, you just killed it. Okay, see ya." Like she wouldn't go, "I need to rethink my whole strategy. They brought one of these things that was easily killed. There must be thousands of them that are harder to kill.
Yeah.
And they're threatening me." So it's just funny. The whole thing's hilarious. And, but like, what would she do? If she's just defeated Cersei, she's sitting atop the Iron Throne. She gets news that Jon is the rightful heir, and that weekend is now looking very weird that they had together. She also gets rumors that Jon Snow is retreating towards King's Landing, and that this army of the dead is real. Like, she gets a rumor that it's real and it's chasing him. Does she open the gates to Jon to let him in? Does she keep it closed to have him? Like, what would she do? She'd probably have, because in Game of Thrones, they have these meetings. Somehow they'd find a way to have a political meeting before the battle. And they would have this awkward meeting where, it would just be, I guess it would be one of these political meetings where Jon would go, "Well, I heard you just wiped out a whole bunch of people." And she goes, "Yeah, that's what I do." Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Well, I don't know about that." And she goes, "Well, I heard you want to take the throne from me." And he goes, "What? No, I don't want it at all." So then just in one scene, you could have him go, "You're the queen. You're the queen." And you could go, you just keep it to one scene. And she goes, thank you. And he goes, but what are we gonna do about these dead guys? And she goes, well, you know, I'll help you kill them. And so then they probably team up to take on the Whites. They win. It's a fucking epic battle with some twists in it that I can't think of at the moment.
The wolves.
Okay, sure. The wolves show up and win the war.
Mm-hmm. Arya shows up riding Nymeria.
But then as you know, and then
here you go. Yeah.
What?
Arya,
so the city, but the okay.
Here you go. Arya is in this version of the movie. Arya did become a monk and doesn't know who she is. She is no one, and she's reunited by Nymeria, who is the only person who can like teach her who she is, and she has an emotional moment with her dog, and then they storm in with the
I think the reason they didn't have Arya become full faceless Arya is because I don't think you could have two Starks going, I'm no longer who I am. Because Bran's going, I'm not me anymore. You can't have Arya also going, I'm also not me anymore.
That's 50%. 50% of the Starks.
It's just still the same thing though. I've totally forgotten who I was. I don't think you could do that twice. I think that's why. I think it's fine she hangs on to her grudges.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also, I really do like the scene in the penultimate or final episode where the Hound, they're about to go on their mission. They're walking up the steps.
I love the Hound.
And the Hound grabs her and says, "You have a life to live. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing here? You have a life to live." And then you see Arya shift and go, "What am I doing here? Like the world is crumbling." He's like, "Do you want to die? You come with me. You're gonna die here." And it gets a great moment. And that was like my only.
I forgot about the Hound.
I was like, that's a good scene. And also it exposes. It's within the theme of what everybody's doing is childish.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's stupid. Everybody's missions are stupid, and it pulls the veil. And you go, that's cool. Even Arya's cool mission of assassinating everybody is pointless in the face of this greater evil.
Yeah.
And he goes, a cool realization she has. But then she inexplicably survives. And there's a horse waiting for her.
The Hound was probably...
And then the horse is handed to her from the writers. They go, Arya needs a horse. And they're pulling the strings, go, get her a horse. It's like the Truman Show. It becomes the Truman Show for these characters. Where they go, quick, elevate her up on the horse. Get her a horse.
Yeah.
Bring up the music. Bring up the music. Bring up the lights. More ashes. More ashes. Bring in more ashes. More ashes. Camera two, hide. She's onto you. Camera two, get out of there. She's onto you. And dude, actually, the way to save what they have is if the characters just slowly started to realize they were in a television.
There were cameras.
If they just slowly started looking and go, what is that over there? And then the camera would scurry away.
They kind of set that up when the Starbucks cup is in there in that final season.
But then Daenerys should pick it up and go, how did this get here?
What
is this? She tastes it. She goes,
yeah.
Oh, it's awful.
She's like,
this tastes mass produced.
This tastes mediocre.
It tastes burnt.
Is this almond milk?
Dude, but fuck it, man. And you could re-edit it that way. Because they have footage of after cut, all these actors looking at the camera going, how was that? You could totally re-edit the final season where they realize they're in a television show.
That would be a really genius edit. If you did that, you'd be
how fucking bizarre and awesome would the final season be? Just the first time you would see one of these actors spike the camera, you go, what? Mm-hmm. When they turn to the camera, you go, oh, what's going on now?
I bet you could just make a trailer of just like, Yeah, that's very funny.
Dude, the Truman Show's so good. The Truman Show's so fun.
I think in the final 2 episodes of the season, I think their build is episode 101 and episode 102. I think they're all behind the scenes footage. And you could re-edit it so it's there looking at the camera.
Yeah, man.
Anyway.
That's the way to do it, though. That is the way to do it. Oh, well.
Sip. Ugh.
What is this?
What is this?
Eh. Can I think of any other strange moments that stuck out to me? Prisoners do not speak, but you can monologue.
Yep. Trying to think. I can't think of anything else. I guess I just wanted Tyrion to have a better ending.
And just Tyrion constantly being surprised by his sister's actions at the end. You go, who are you now?
Why was he so... I can't justify why he was so beaten down by the end.
But him and Jon, because they're hanging around waiting. They're waiting for Daenerys to just do the final fight. They have nothing to do. That's why Jon, for like 5 episodes, is constantly going, she's my queen, she's my queen, she's my queen, she's my queen. And it's just a broken record. It's because they got the fights flipped. And he didn't need to be hanging out with Daenerys that long.
Yeah.
And it's weird, and I couldn't pinpoint. It has to be, well, it's after Meereen, when Tyrion becomes her lapdog.
I don't know what happens.
Well, he stops being like, because he's skeptical. He's constantly skeptical. And that's what makes him intriguing. He goes, and
I think it's when he sees a dragon, because he talks about
before Meereen, he's seen the dragons, and he's still like, I'm not sure about you. He's like, I think you have bad impulses, and I am going to actively try to quell them. So he's still got an eye on, she's like fearsome.
Yeah.
But then something shifts where he's now like Jon, she's like, well, she's the best for the realm. And you go, why? What? When did you just like, and it's like, you can make a case because you fell in love with her, but you don't really see that. He like awkward, like he gets like a little jealous sometimes of her boyfriends, it seems. But Tyrion's like, that's just also not a Tyrion thing.
No.
It's, I don't know. It's very strange. And then the whole him, he stops being Tyrion, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
I do like the moment when right before Varys dies, he turns to him and he says, I really hope I'm wrong. How Varys dies? Varys, he confronts Tyrion. He goes, our queen is the mad queen. She's a mad queen. And Jon is the rightful heir. It has to be Jon. And he says the best leader is the one who doesn't want it. And that's why Jon will be a great leader. And he says, I have to commit treason because my interests are with the realm. That's it. Yeah. I'm always the good of the realm, and Jon Snow is for the good of the realm. So I have to betray her. So he starts leaking the news with his little bird. He even tries to poison her. He tries to poison Dany.
Yeah.
And fails. You're right. And you go, okay, cool. Varys is actually cool because he's now the only one fucking thinking. And then Tyrion, for some fucking reason, tells on him.
Sells him out. Yeah. And they've been like best friends. Like Varys saves his life.
But Tyrion is a man of logic and reason. And Varys has all the logic and reason on his side for the argument. So the fact that Tyrion doesn't even entertain it and just defaults to loyalty, it's not him. And that's also what's very strange. But I like the moment when Varys says to him before he dies, he goes, I hope I'm wrong. He goes, I had to do this, but I really hope, and he just turns to, he goes, I really hope I'm wrong about her, right before he dies. And you go, Varys is cool as shit. And you go, there's nothing cooler than it's just, that's why it would have been cool for him to make it to the end, because, and he should have made it longer, because that's not a Tyrion act to betray. Tyrion's act there is not a Tyrion act. So that's out of character. So he should have lasted longer anyway. But the only person in the show with the good of the realm in mind, maybe him and Jon, but Jon, Jon are the only people with the realm in mind, like the realm of man. Yeah. Everyone else is fucking little personal battles they want to fight.
Yeah.
So that's like, yeah, I might have had, like, if I were doing it, the thing is like, you just have to decide I think the way to decide to end the show is you go, who actually would win the battle between the White Walkers and the remaining armies? And you go, I don't know. It's like, would her dragons be enough? I mean, they get killed with fire, right?
Yes, but also Bran could have stepped up.
Also, the Night King wanting Bran is a cool idea. I still don't understand it.
Bran has the ability.
I know what Bran. I know, but so what?
He could have possessed one of the.
No. My thing is, okay, so the Night King kills Bran. Then what happens? Like, I don't understand why killing Bran does anything. So he's dead.
That was justified, but I can't remember what.
It's not justified. It's justified in one line of dialogue.
I think one theory is like, if the Night King kills Bran, then the Night King will die.
It's justified in an extremely vague line of dialogue that Sam says, well, that makes sense because memory is like life. It's like, if you kill, like, what is memory? If like you kill the memory, then he kind of tries to explain, if you kill in an abstract way, because they don't actually want to say it. If you kill Bran, we all die. And you go, what?
Yeah.
It's one line of dialogue and everybody goes, yep, that makes sense, which is something that don't make no sense at all. And that needs a lot of explanation. And everyone would go, I'm sorry. If we kill Bran, everyone dies.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, nobody even says that. And it's because they don't know why killing Bran matters. Like, why the writers don't have an answer, so they don't say it.
Yeah.
It's just the thing the Night King wants. And you go, it would have been better just to have Night King want everybody live dead. Because they didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
There's theories like right, because Bran is the Night King, because like, as long as Bran exists, the Night King exists. But now you're getting into weird time travel shit where you go, now it's a time travel show where you go, if you kill Bran, is this Back to the Future? Where like, what happens? What physically happens once Bran dies? I think Bran just dies. And the Night King's still like, now what?
I think in the last scene when they say, Bran, you're going to be king, he should have been like, remember when he says, why do you think I came all this way? He should have been like, he should have just winked to the camera. Like, why do you think I came all this way? Wink.
And there's also the Bran Superman problem, where Bran becomes so fucking powerful.
Superman.
You can't cut to him because he can do anything. He can travel through time. He can warg into people. He's so problematic. He's cool, but he's so problematic to your story because he's a Superman without kryptonite. Where you go, he can end the war right now he can go back in time and make the Night King never exist. Right? He can go back to when the children of the forest are about to do the thing, and he could just warg into the dumbest one of them and then stop it. Like he can do it, and then he could do it a million times over till he gets it right. So it's like you can't give him that much power for your story unless you're doing a weird time travel, unless you get into time travel.
Yeah.
Unless you go there, and it doesn't want to go there.
No.
Because then you got to play, okay, what type of time travel story is this? Is this where if I kill somebody in the past, they die in right paradox? Like you have to choose your rules. So it's the Three-Eyed Raven is a problem for your storytelling. And I wonder how George R. R. Martin actually deals with it.
We'll see when the last book comes out, if it comes out. We'll see.
Yeah, it's well, if you killed memory, because isn't life like memory? Well, that's what death is, isn't it? Forgetting. That's what he goes. He goes, that's what death is. It's forgetting. No, death is death. Yeah. It's such a weird. You go, well, that's what death's like. It's forgetting. You go, no, it's not though. What? It's not. Except it's not though.
I just love how Sam is the voice of reason in the show, and everyone's just
except
like
when he says he says that writer meta line, and you go, what? Right then, what's actually happening are the writers warging into Sam. Say this now, and he says it. And everybody, and then the writers warg and everybody else, and everyone goes, "Yep,
yes,
death is memory." Right? I mean, it all makes sense why the Night King wants Bran. Protect him, and then we'll protect him with Theon, the strongest fighter among us. Bran is the most important. Who's our best fighter? Jon Snow goes, probably me, and they go, right, Theon. Right, let's use Theon then.
Sure.
Good, sure. Then let's use Theon.
Yeah, sure. Theon?
Oh, you mean the guy who's constantly betraying people? Yes.
Yeah, send him.
Number one choice.
He'll be fine.
You mean the guy who betrayed the Stark family at a moment of crisis, like big time? Yes, he'll be good.
That's the guy. Yes.
Put him right next to the most important person in this whole thing. Good. The one person we need to keep alive, let's put Theon next to him.
Theon, take your finger out of your nose. All right.
Also, it's funny when Bran, right when the Night King in the biggest slow-mo walk up ever, Night King slow-mo walks into the garden, and then Bran turns to Theon and goes, "It's time to die."
Oh yeah.
And Theon goes, "Okay," and it charges of the Night King.
Yeah, Bran. Yeah, does that mean Bran killed Theon?
Nah, I mean, it's just trying to be cool about it's apologizing for something that's about to be not cool. You go, oh no, but it's cool because Bran saw it coming. And you go, yeah, but no. You go, Bran saw Theon acting stupid, so therefore it's not stupid. You go, no, it's still real stupid. Also,
you remember when the season was coming out and everyone was like, it's okay. The next episode's going to be better.
I was hopeful.
They're setting it up.
Also, the Night King also knows he's in a TV show.
Yeah.
Because he's walking like it. He's taking his time. He goes, I'm going to walk really slowly to the thing I desperately need to kill. As opposed if this is fucking season 2 of the show, why is death so fast climbing up the wall and going for other people, but when it comes to the final moments, taking its time? Because they realize they're in a goddamn TV show. How scary would it be if they were actually just fucking running towards Bran, like Not even thinking. They go, kill it.
Do you like zombie movies?
No, as a rule, generally.
Oh,
I'm
why?
just not into. They just don't do it for me. It's not mystical enough.
Oh.
Zombies aren't. That's the thing. Zombies are too close to reality. Like they're just humans acting like dicks. With bad makeup. Humans with bad makeup acting like dicks.
I've been playing one of the Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
And you would really like that game.
I've played no, I wouldn't though.
There's this one character. It's called the Tyrant.
I like the diamond-headed dude.
That's from Silent Hill.
Oh, well, come on. That's what I like.
The pyramid.
Yeah, that's cool. Pyramid guy.
Yeah, the pyramid.
He's like Hellraiser.
The tyrant.
He's a Cenobite.
Yeah, that's kind of. But the Tyrant is this guy who is just walking slowly, but he was made by the Umbrella Corporation, and he can't be killed. He's just constantly walking towards you, and then has like superpowers. But he's like kind of like Thanos. He's like slow and menacing.
Yeah, that's what the Night King is constantly walking toward you until he stops to wait to get the thing that he wants and just stares at Bran and waits and waits cuz.
Yeah.
So Arya can come and so the Flash, so Quicksilver can shoot through the forest, appear out of nowhere, do the sick dagger move that was never set up. Like,
yeah,
it's just so deflating. You go, oh, that's it. Like, it's cool that it's Arya. Like, that's cool, but that's it. Oh.
Didn't expect
that. You didn't expect that, did you? And you go, I guess I didn't.
What happens
you got me.
Bran wargs into the knife.
Yeah, dude, that would have been cool, actually.
Bran is like, and like the knife like comes alive.
Yeah, and it goes, oh,
and starts slicing up all the zombies. Like it's just moving on its own, and then Bran is just shaking.
Bran is stuck, and he's stuck in the knife, and he's just a knife for the rest of the series. And then at the round table at the end, it's just this little knife going, well, what I think is this, and
why do you think I came all this?
But it's the knife is constantly going, I'm not a knife. I'm no longer a knife. And you go, no, but you're a knife. And he goes, no, I remember what it was like to be a knife, but I'm not one now. I'm the three-eyed raven. You go, dude, you're a knife.
Oh my God, that's it. Then, oh my God, he stays as a knife, but then he turns into a sword, and then he turns into the new Iron Throne.
Also, God, dude, that fucking speech that Dany gives right before she dies about apologizing for why the throne is so small.
You have to break the wheel.
No, but like in the books, right, the throne's huge, right?
It's huge, and then the throne in the...
But here's the thing. We're over it. Yeah. We've known it's been undersized for 8 seasons. You don't need to say anything about it. But you have this weird line where the writers are going, but here's the reason why it's so small. And goes, nobody cares. We're fine with it. We're fine with it. You don't need to bring it up. Because then Dany says the weird thing, goes, I've always imagined it bigger, but that's just my imagination. You go, God, stop with the meta shit, dude. Just
what if she was like, wait a minute, I've always imagined it bigger. And then Jon Snow's like, wait a minute. And he goes up and he breaks a piece off and he sniffs it and he eats it. And he's like, this is chocolate. Where's the real throne?
It's a chocolate throne.
Wait a minute.
I do like it's a chocolate.
This is chocolate.
And that explains why it melts. That becomes molten chocolate at the end.
Yeah.
But you just didn't need to say a damn thing about it. Just sit in it and go, wow, this is everything I dreamed of. The fact that she doesn't even go, I got everything what I wanted. It undermines the whole thing. You go, she should be sitting. I don't even think she sits in it, does she?
No.
She, in that final scene, should be sitting in it going, hell yeah. I fucking did it. And you go, cool. And instead she goes, I know. She goes, instead her final speech is, dear fans, I'm sorry that this throne is so small that you've been complaining about for 8 years, but now I'm just getting back to you. Okay?
What if she goes to sit in the throne and then she goes to sit in the throne?
Dear fans. What?
What if she goes to sit in the throne and then she's like, wait a minute, what's this?
Chocolate.
And then behind the throne is a picture of her and her grandfather and her father.
And Willy Wonka.
And Willy Wonka. Just like, huh. So this is what it was all about.
Chocolate.
And it's the end of the season.
Dude, if they just started eating the throne and fucking great.
Oh, it's so good. And then the dragon shows up and the dragon's eating the throne too.
Yeah. But the dragon goes, chair. Oh, chair. The man who killed my mother or chair? Yeah. Man who killed my mother or chair? Chair. Chair though. Chair. That bothers me more. This chair. This chair is too small.
Yeah. And just gone.
Like, you could have had Drogon speak and go, I fucking hate chairs. And it would have made more sense.
Yeah.
I would have gone, oh, well, at least I get it now. At least I get it now. He hates chairs.
Yeah. I wish the dragons did speak. Game of Thrones.
And I'm upset because, like, I don't have anything to watch now. I was hoping, dude, you understand. I was hoping that upon second viewing, I would be like, oh, I was so wrong. This is great. Dude, this is so fun. I was wrong. I'm so glad I got to watch it again.
I heard Outlander's pretty good.
I don't know that one.
It's on Netflix, I think. I haven't seen it yet.
The thing is, dude, I have to, it's weird, but like I kind of have to know that a show has a great ending because I can't invest otherwise. I can't have a Game of Thrones experience again. Where it's like, I will never watch Lost. I will never watch Battlestar Galactica because I know that those endings are disappointing from what I hear. So I'm just not going to invest.
Outlander has a tomato meter of 91% and an audience score of 90%.
But is the series over?
No.
Okay, but see, that's the thing, man.
A married British combat.
Sorry, dude, but I can't get into it. I gotta know the writers who know how to end their story. Gotta know. I can't invest otherwise, dude. That's the thing. That's why I'm a movie guy, because you know what? Worst case scenario, I lost an hour and a half of my life. Not worst case scenario, I lost
2 boats. I mean, 2 days.
How many hours is Game of Thrones? Total.
That's a good question, actually.
I mean, 8 seasons of what? How many episodes? 10 seasons. So like you're around 100 hours, right? That's the downside. I can't go, well, I just lost 100 hours of my life.
In order to watch all 73 episodes, it would take 3 days and 16 minutes.
3 days and 16 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But see, like, you're not going to watch 24 hours, so you're going to watch, it takes about a week.
That would be a really funny live stream. You don't sleep until you finish Game of Thrones from front to back.
Well, you'd be so sad.
Anyway. It's a good thing there's a lot of other film productions in the can.
Like what?
Oh, I was being facetious. I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's plenty in the can. Like, what's the Christopher Nolan movie's coming out soon? Tenet.
Oh, really? Okay. Never mind.
Yeah, we're going to start running out of cans in like a year. Where like next year there ain't going to be a lot of movies coming out. You know what I'm saying?
They'll have things figured out by next year.
No, but what I'm saying is the films that should be debuting next year should be filming now, because it always takes a year for a film to come out. So there's going to be a big dead gap next year.
Well, they'll just release a lot of live content, I guess.
From where? Your home?
While things are going well, I'm sure things will be opened up next year. Things are opening up in California.
Like what?
I think they were saying they're starting to relax a lot of restrictions as of this week, this week or next week. It's yeah, I don't know. Well, we did it. We fixed Game of Thrones.
In my head. Maybe they'll reshoot it. Remember there was like a Kickstarter to reshoot Game of Thrones. Yeah, I think they raised like $500,000. You go, oh, you're gonna need a lot more than that.
Yeah,
it's cute. It was cute though.
Yeah. Reshoot Game of Thrones, but the Truman Show, Game of Thrones.
You wouldn't need to reshoot it. You have all the footage.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
So what am I going to watch now? I guess I'm going to read Jurassic Park again. Remember Michael Crichton? Remember Michael Crichton?
He wrote the book?
Dude, he wrote all those books. He wrote he wrote Sphere. He wrote Congo. He wrote The Abyss. Or maybe not The Abyss.
He wrote Westworld too.
Sure.
And
he wrote Jurassic Park and The Lost World.
Yeah, and he wrote oh yeah, oh my god. The Andromeda Strain.
Right. He was like the 90s Dan Brown, but like
yeah, I didn't. Have you ever heard of Prey?
Yes, I think I tried to read it once. That's what happens to me with books. I try to read them.
What's Prey about?
Name the books that you've read more than once in your life?
The Name of the Wind.
How many times you read it?
Like 2.5, 3 times, and I read the sequel twice. I'm trying to think of what else. I think I reread The Way of Kings.
What is that?
Twice. It's this fantasy novel about these there's this big war going on between this sort of superpower. These knights put on this like giant armor made of this metal that doesn't exist anymore. And they're trying to fight this indigenous people, and they're fighting them on these plateaus. That the only way they can get across these plateaus are with bridges that prisoners and lowlifes carry in between the plateaus. And this guy, Kaladin, who was kind of wrongfully imprisoned, while he's a doomed man, he's supposed to die because people who run these bridges die because the indigenous people shoot them with arrows. he discovers this power he discovers this power and creates it's hard not to spoil it, but basically creates a blade out of air, and it's the same material that these metal armor suits were made out of. And you kind of find out that these suits that people were wearing and these blades are dead gods, and the way he is using his powers the true way. And it's a very cool, the way the magic of the world is very cool. It's very it's not like other stories. It's good.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm a big nerd. Oh my god. If this quarantine lasts, I need to get a desk and a desk chair.
Cool, dude.
I can't do my work in my bed anymore.
What do I watch now?
Let's rework our screenplay live on one of these things.
Shut up.